Let's talk about destructuring in JavaScript for both objects and arrays. Destructuring is like breaking the objects into pieces and picking one particular properties that we want. So I've written one simple object, user object, that has IDs, name, age, etc. And suppose you want to extract the name from this user object. What you would do? You can write var name equals to user.name, or variable name equals to user then square bracket name. In these ways you can extract a variable name. So suppose you want to extract name and age, so you can do that. But with this structuring you can extract all the properties that you need in one single line. Let me show you how you can do that. You can write variable, then the property names that you need like name and age from the object, in this case the user object. And you can do the same thing with late or const as well. So instead of var you can write late or const. Now let's talk about some practical use cases of this destructuring. Suppose you have a function called canVote, and this function will just return if the age of the user is more than 18 or not. And also you can see that this function only cares about the age of the user, but when we are calling the function we are not sure what is the criteria, so we can just pass the user. And in this function we can destructure the user and only get the age, and you can just return if the age is greater or equals to 18 or not. It's quite simple. So this function only cares about some properties. Suppose you want age and the city, you can do that like this. You can do a lot of different things with this structuring as well. Suppose you want to provide some default value, like here I'm providing age equals to 18. That means if the user object or the object that you're passing doesn't have the property age, in that case it will be defaulted to 18. And suppose you want something like you want age and along with that you want other properties as well, so you can just use triple dot props or any other variables. So in this case you will get the age as a destructured variable, and along with that you will get the props, and props will be one simple object that will have all the properties except the properties, the destructured properties. So these props will have all the other properties. It will have ID, name, city and email, but not the age. So it's like we are destructuring, we are picking some properties here and then the rest of the properties, so you can just call it rest. This is a better variable naming. So all the rest of the properties will be there in this object. Now let's talk about destructuring of arrays. For this example I have one countries array where I have some string country codes, and we want to destructure this array and pick some variables from this. Suppose we want first two only. So what we can do is we can write one where C1 and C2. So C1 and C2 variable will contain US and UK. So this is similar to object destructuring, but as arrays doesn't have properties, so we have to rely on the ordering. So US is the first one, that's why the first variable will have the US value. Alright, and suppose you want to skip some variables, you can also do that. You can add extra comma here. So what will happen here is C2 will contain Australia because the middle one is blank. Similar to object destruction, you can use the triple dot operator and you can provide another variable to get the rest of the items. So here the rest will contain one array, and that will have just India here because we have just 4 elements. You can also add default value, like here I'm adding C2 equals to something like a. Suppose instead of passing countries you were just adding one array that has a single element like only US. So in that case the C2, the third position doesn't have any value. In that case C2 will be the default value. In this short video I think I have covered almost everything about destructuring. If you have any questions about this, please let me know in the comment section. I will try to answer those. If you liked it, please hit like and subscribe to JavaScript Talks for more videos like this.